Welcome, fans of the happiest card game on earth. Before we get started, let's address the elephant in the room. What happened to the Illumineers? Decided to rebrand the channel for a number of reasons, honestly. The main one being that I'm fed up of YouTube telling me I'm looking for a Britpop band. So you are now in the Inkwell. New name, new look, but the same content I hope you've come to expect from the channel. If you're new here, don't worry about it. Just hit like and don't forget to subscribe. Right, we have 21 cards to talk about. We start then with a duo of cards that Lorcana showed off on Twitter as part of their combo posts that they've been doing every week, showing how a few cards interact with each other. First of all, we got a 7-costed uninkable 6/5 for 2 lore in Emerald, Mickey Mouse, Artful Rogue. He's a Floodborn hero at super rare rarity. Well, a 7th Mickey Mouse was not something I was expecting, but very happy to see it and very happy to see a Floodborn one as well. He is Floodborn, so you can shift him out for 5 on top of another Mickey Mouse, and he has the ability Misdirection. Whenever you play an action, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. This is a really pretty strong ability. It can just shut down a heavy lore card or one of the key questing combo pieces that your opponent might have. It also goes very well with the action card that they revealed at the same time, Do It Again. A 3-costed uninkable action in Emerald, return an action card from your discard to your hand. So you can play Do It Again and Mickey Mouse will stop something questing, and whatever you bring back with Do It Again, you can cast again and Mickey Mouse can pick something else to stop questing. One interesting thing here is, apart from the uninkable nature of this card, there's nothing here to stop the recursion loop just going and going and going, apart from the fact that you have to pay for the cards. So you can Do It Again, Do It Again, and there's Do It Again that you bring back can Do It Again, and you can do it again, and you can just keep going. And basically, if you have a Do It Again in your banish pile and you have a Do It Again in your hand, then Mickey Mouse basically says pay 3, chosen character doesn't quest. That's pretty good. Next up, a 2-costed inkable item in Emerald, Stolen Scimitar. At common rarity, this has the ability Slash. You can exert it. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn. If a character named Aladdin is chosen, he gets +2 strength instead. This is fine, I guess. It's a cheap item, which is always good to see, and it's inkable, which is always good to see, but I feel like this is a little bit too specific to see a lot of play. Although, as I have mentioned before, I definitely think that the game designers, as well as keeping all the 2 colors really strong and really being able to build around them, I think we're going to see the ability to build some actual IP decks straight out the bat as well. I definitely think they're going to be an Amethyst Steel or an Amethyst Sapphire Frozen deck that can be built, maybe even Amethyst Ruby Frozen deck, and I think we're going to see an Emerald Ruby Aladdin deck. Basically, you can just smash everything in there that says Aladdin on it, and it'll make a playable deck, maybe not necessarily a good deck, but it'll definitely make something that you can play and be kept on theme, and I think cards like this is probably their home. Next up, a 4-costed inkable 3/3 for 2 lore in Steel, Hans, 13th in line. He's a Storyborn villain prince at super rare rarity. He has the ability Stage a Little Accident. Whenever this character quests, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. Ooh, this one is pretty good. The stat line of 3/3 is just below the breakpoint, but still a 2 lore character that gets an additional bonus when it's questing, which is what it wants to do, is really quite good. This is a really solid card in Steel. Next up, we have a 4-costed inkable 1/5 for 2 lore in Amber, Rapunzel, gifted with healing. When you play this character, remove up to 3 damage from one of your characters, draw a card for each 1 damage removed this way. This is a legendary card, and probably quite rightly slow. This is really quite strong. Being able to heal something up after it's just challenged your opponent's board, and not only healing it, then drawing up to 3 cards as well. This is the top end that Amber and Princesses have really been waiting for. It's incredible Rapunzel art as well. This is really quite good. As it stands, it's not very often that you're gonna have your own characters challenged into and left alive. Pretty much so far, it seems to be that if you're challenging into something, it's because you're banishing it. So I don't know whether this card is necessarily very strong defensively, but offensively, I think it's very good. Basically, you swing out into something on their side of the board, and then you're going to be able to heal up and refill your hand again. Yeah, just a good card. All of these 3 came from an article from Dicebreaker, and all 3 of them are really quite good. The second one was this 2-costed inkable 1 1/2 for 2 lore in Emerald, Flynn Rider, Charming Rogue. He's an uncommon card with the ability Here Comes the Smolder. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging player chooses and discards a card. Really great little uncommon this. 2 lore is just good, and at any time you're making your opponent have to think about things that aren't their own game plan, it's just strong. You don't get to see their hand or discard the card here, which is something we might see in a more higher powered version of this later on. They get to pick what it is they're discarding, but at the minute, card advantage is king in this game. So anything you can do to make them get rid of something is just pretty good. This is perhaps the biggest fire the cannons target I've ever seen, because it does have to be challenged to have the thing trigger here, but Flynn's coming out on turn 2, he's questing for 2 the next turn, and he just has to be dealt with. Really great to see this from Emerald. Easily Emerald is still my favourite colour, and the last few reveals here have just confirmed that for me. Another great card here, a 5-costed inkable 4/5 with 1 lore in Amber, Maximus Palace Horse. He's a super rare card with the abilities Bodyguard and Support. A lot of text here, so we'll go over them very quickly. If a Bodyguard character is exerted, then an opposing character has to challenge a Bodyguard character if able before it can challenge anything else that's exerted on your side of the board. It's sort of like a taunt style mechanic. Come at me, you can't hit anything else. And then Support, whenever this character crests, you can add their strength to another character. Wow, Bodyguard and Support on the same card is good. This is a character that even with just 1 lore, you are going to want to quest with, because it sets it up exerted so that your opponent has to deal with it, but also giving +4 to something else is really quite good. Amber Steel Bodyguard deck with maybe like a Musketeers sub-theme is just looking better and better. This is a really good card. All 3 of those from Tangled were great. Did not have a second Maximus card on my on my bingo card, though, I will say that. Here's another one I didn't have on my bingo card. A 2-costed inkable 2/1 for 1 lore in Emerald, Megara, Pulling the Strings. She's a Dreamborn ally at common rarity, and she has the ability Wonder Boy. When you play this character, chosen character gets +2 this turn. This is fine, I suppose. It's a low-costed Emerald card. The problem here, I feel, is that a lot of Emerald cards want to be challenged into and not necessarily be the challenger, and a card that's giving a bonus to strength is more of a challenger focus card. This probably pairs well with another color, but otherwise it's fine. Talking of fine, here's a 4-costed inkable 4/4 for 1 lore in Amethyst, Elsa, Queen Regent. She's a Storyborn Hero Queen Sorcerer at common rarity, and she is the definition of a common. She's a 4/4 for 4. It is the first 4/4 for 4 I think we've seen, but I think a lot of people were very excited about this card because the name Elsa Queen Regent was mentioned in the quick start rules months and months ago, and people's sort of imaginations maybe got away for them a little bit. There are better Elsa cards coming in this video, so stay tuned, but for now at least, yeah, vanilla. There's 21 cards to talk about. We haven't got time to talk about vanillas because we want to talk about this one, a 5-costed uninkable 2/4 for 3 lore in Emerald, Cuzco, Temperamental Emperor. Oh, that's Temperamental Emperor is a beautiful little tongue twister. He's a Storyborn King at rare rarity. He has the ability Ward and No Touchy. When this character is challenged and banished, you may banish the challenging character. Souped up Cheshire Cat with Ward. I will take this all day long. As much as I've loved Emerald, for the longest time it hasn't really had the top end that it's needed. It has a lot of board control, but nowhere really to go with it. Cuzco is exactly where you want to go with it. His full willpower means he's getting away from some of the lower end stuff that could swing into him. So this is easily a 2-for-1, or you're getting rid of something much chunkier to get rid of him for that 3 lore that he's going to be questing for all day long. Oh, imagine this in a Bodyguard deck. Wow, great card, only at rare as well. Next up, a 2-costed inkable 2/3 for 1 lore, Genie the Ever Impressive. He's a Dreamborn ally at common rarity. Ever Impressive seems a little much for this card. It's great art, but it is just a vanilla. Perhaps a good Floodborn target, a good shift target later on. But for now, sadly, it's about as impressive as the next card, a 3-costed inkable 3/2 for 2 lore in Ruby, Abu, Mischievous Monkey. He's a Storyborn ally, also at common rarity. Like, I get that a lot of cards in this set have to be filler. If they're all amazing, then none of them are. But I do hope that we see more from Abu in the future. So whilst the last two aren't really expected to be very impressive, this one probably is meant to be, and I don't really see it. It's an 8-costed, uninkable 6/6 for 1 lore, Scar Shameless Firebrand. This Ruby card is a Floodborn Villain King at rare rarity. It has a shift 6 with it being Floodborn and the ability Rousing Speech. When you play this character, ready your characters with cost 3 or less. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. 8-costed uninkable is kind of huge for 1 lore. I can only assume that we haven't seen the 3-cost characters that this card wants to be played with. I'd love to think that maybe we're getting some Hyena support to go with him, but as it stands, pretty much all of the Scar cards have disappointed me a little bit. The 2 options we have for this to shift onto aren't really anything to write home about either, and I kind of feel like they've done my Scar a little bit of a dirty on this one. Incredible art as always, but yeah, I don't know where this card fits right now. On the other hand, this one is incredible. A 6-costed inkable 5/5 for 2 lore in Emerald, John Silver, Alien Pirate. He's an alien Storyborn villain pirate captain, holy classifications Batman, and he is a legendary rarity. He has the ability Pick Your Fights when you play this character, and whenever he quests, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. Well, we have a lot to talk about here. First of all, this is our first Treasure Planet reveal, which has been very exciting for a lot of people. I'll be honest with you, I kind of missed Treasure Planet. I'm a big Renaissance Disney fan. I had to go and look up Treasure Planet. I was aware of it, but I was sitting there thinking, why do I know nothing about this film? Turns out it came out when I was 17, and that was about the time I realized girls existed. So me and Disney might have had a little bit of a falling out for a few years. So, but still, incredible art. Definitely need to go back and watch this one. I will have watched it at the time. I just remember so little about it. Anyway, I digress. What a great card, just mechanically though as well. A 5/5 body is fantastic with 2 lore. Has all of the classifications you'll want to see there, and a really great ability as well. First time we've seen an ability trigger on both when the character is being played and something else here whenever he quests. I'm still not 100% sure whether Reckless is that strong a keyword to be giving to your opponent. Yes, it does stop them questing, but they are going to be able to swing into stuff. Honestly, it seems like Emerald is going to have a relatively high ceiling for play, and you're going to really want to build out the board state and build out your opponent's board state here so that John Silver's getting the most value out of giving something Reckless. But even still, superb card. Another that I have a little bit of a soft spot for, even though maybe it's not incredible, is this one here. A 5-costed uninkable 2/5 for 1 lore in Steel, Captain Hook, Thinking a Happy Thought. There's a Floodborn Villain Pirate Captain at rare. It's Floodborn, so it has Shift 3 and Challenger +3, and the ability Stolen Dust. Characters with cost 3 or less can't challenge this character. There's one thing that you want to do with this card, and that is shift it onto a forceful duelist who isn't able to trade up. But I don't know whether it's just the incredible art or the incredibly thematic ability. I just really like this card, and I really love the idea of just getting this guy out on turn 3 and have him... He's a 5/5 on turn 3. That's good. I think the big problem with this card here is that it very quickly gets outpaced as the game goes on. But if you can do what this card wants you to do, which is shift him out on turn 3 and start swinging, not only that, chances are they won't have anything to swing back into him because of his Stolen Dust ability. I don't know. I know it's like you need the perfect hand for this to work, but I still think it's great, and I'm still going to try and do it. Here's a couple I was not expecting. I will do these ones together. First of all, we have a 3-costed inkable 2/4 for 1 lore in Emerald, Jasper Common Crook. He's a Storyborn ally at uncommon rarity with the ability Puppy Napping. When this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. We also have another 3-costed inkable 4/3 this time for 1 lore in Emerald, Horace, No Good Scoundrel. He's a Storyborn ally at common rarity, and that's it. First of all, interesting to see them both, and they're relatively minor characters in an older movie, so that's really great that it just continues to show how much they're digging through the archives for stuff here. What I find most interesting here is that we had these revealed at the same time in the same tweet. They're both emerald, they're both 3 cost. One of them is clearly much better than the other one. Jasper's ability there is just fantastic and very emerald. I really just love it. Oh, can you tell? I love how emerald is shaping up. I just love the fact that, as Dan from Hobbies and Happiness put it so eloquently the other night, fun is a zero-sum game, and I'm having all of it when I'm playing emerald, and you are doing nothing. Next up come the other Elsas. We're now up to 4 Elsas, I think, which is just behind Maleficent and Mickey Mouse for most cards for a single character. Not surprising though, Elsa is pretty huge. This one here is a 4-costed inkable 3/4 for 1 lore in Ruby, Elsa Ice Surfer. She's a hero, Dreamborn Queen, Sorcerer at common rarity with the ability That's No Blizzard. Whenever you play a character named Anna, ready this character. This character can't quest for the rest of this turn. So interesting that we see the other half of the Anna Elsa combo here. Very interesting to see Elsa in Ruby. Did not call that at all. And it kind of throws off what I said earlier about there being a clear Frozen deck. I really thought we were going to see a Frozen deck in either Amethyst Steel or Amethyst Sapphire. This now puts Frozen cards into 4 colors, 5 colors. Yes, because we have a Emerald Hans now as well. So yeah, Frozen's just spread right across the board. I do still think this Elsa Anna deck, where they care about each other being on the board, is going to be a deck that you can just build straight at the bat, and it looks like it's perhaps going to be Sapphire Ruby. Definitely see a Ruby Anna coming, and I think that we may even see another Elsa. There might even be a 5th Elsa. I don't know. I'm not one of the guys that keeps a spreadsheet with the names where I can see what stuff fits, but maybe not. But yes, it wouldn't surprise me to see even more that you can just build a deck straight out with this one. As far as it goes, whenever you play a character named Anna, ready this character. Like, it's a bonus ability, really, but it's common. It's not great. But this one is really great. It's an 8-costed, uninkable 4/6 for 3 lore in Amethyst. Elsa, Spirit of Winter. She is a Floodborn Queen, hero, sorcerer at legendary rarity. She has Shift 6 and the ability Deep Freeze. When you play this character, exert up to 2 chosen characters they can't ready at the start of the next turn. So this Elsa is a souped up Elsa Snow Queen, and I am here for it. What a great card. Incredible art, incredible ability. Just shutting down the board when she comes out. She can come out on top of one of the other Elsas we've seen. She can shut the board down. She can swing out for 3 lore very comfortably, knowing that, a lot of stuff isn't going to be able to swing back into her. This is incredible. I think I said this on a live stream recently. There are going to be singles in this game on the secondhand market that go over $100. This is clearly going to be one of them. It's a very popular character. It's very good art. It's very mechanically good. And it's the rarest you can get, as far as we know of. Like, this is the quadruple threat. This is the perfect storm of an expensive single. $100, $200 even. A foil one, maybe even more. This is going to be a really hot ticket. And then last but not least, there's one more to show you. These were all shared, the last sort of 10 cards were all shared as part of the Q&A that Ravensburger did on Twitter. I will link that in the comments. As far as Q&A goes, as far as like rules go, there wasn't really anything that we hadn't already touched. There was a couple of clarifications for things, but nothing that sort of changed how we're playing, honestly, in testing. But most of it was here just to kind of share some cards, and I'm totally there for that. Then we have a 5-costed uninkable 3/3 for 2 lore in Amethyst, Tinker Bell, Peter Pan's ally, a Storyborn ally fairy, common rarity with evasive and the ability Loyal and Devoted. Your character's name Peter Pan, gain Challenger +1. So again, a kind of themey deck card here, but honestly not terrible. A 3/3 for 2 lore evasive is pretty good. Little overcosted at 5, not quite sure why it's uninkable, but common. This could see play, I guess, maybe in budget decks, or this might be in the starter. This is the sort of card I imagine we'll see in the starter deck. Whether or not we see... Oh, I wonder if that means we're going to see like an Amber or a Amethyst Peter Pan then. that this sits in with the starter deck. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It feels very starter decky because it's very clear to read. Lots of abilities, but nothing too impactful. Yeah, calling it now. This is in the Moana Mickey starter deck. And then last up, I had the absolute pleasure of being here live when this happened. If you don't already follow Hobbies and Happiness, you really should. Dan and Jim do an awesome job covering all sorts of TCG goodness and some board games and other games as well. Obviously, they are covering Lorcana in a big way, and every so often their Friday night stream is a Lorcana roundtable where loads of content creators are invited on to chat about the news that's come up this week. And whilst we went through all of these cards and gave our rundown on all of them, at the end of the stream, Rochelle, who is the Lorcana community manager, was in the chat, and there and then, totally off script, she sent this card for Dan to share live on the stream. What a great moment. Very exciting stuff. This is a 4-costed Inkable 0/5 for 2 lore, Jafar, Keeper of Secrets, a Dreamborn Sorcerer villain at rare rarity with the ability Hidden Wonders. This character gets +1 strength for each card in your hand. Very interesting card. I mean, best art in the set? Are we saying best art in the set? This is incredible work from Marcel Berg. Fits in with a lot of other Sapphire cards we have where they're a little overcosted, but they could be undercosted with the caveat. So we have the other Jafar, for instance, the Dr. Facilier, where they're a little overstated on the offensive, but understated on the defensive with the challenger there. And again, the flaw of this card is that it's a 0/5. But saying that, Amethyst seems to be the card draw color. It seems to be maybe the hand management color. I definitely think we're going to see more cards that make this one even better, and you're going to want to sort of hold your hand full, and this will most likely be a 3/5 or a 4/5 even, and at that point it's a really great static card. But as it stands at the moment, it's probably a 1/5 or a 2/5, and it's not really very impactful. There are a lot of people saying, oh well, if you play the Wheel of Steel, what's it called, the Part of Your World song, and then you've got a 7/5, and what's the 7/5 doing? Not much, probably. And then there's a few other people who are saying that you can combo this and you can combo that, and it can be a 12/5, and at that point there's zero reason for it to be 12/5. The biggest willpower we have in the game at the moment, I think, is 9, so any more than that and it's completely useless at the moment anyway. But still, interesting card, interesting mechanic. Whether or not it's strong, I genuinely think it's too early to say whether this card is strong, but jeez, I love that art. It's the thumbnail for this video. That's how much I love it. Oof, this one's going to be like 25 minutes long. But we had a lot to get through, and my goodness, it was fun. Like I said before, if you are enjoying this content, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Lots more coming on the channel in the coming weeks as we get ready for the launch. And then as soon as we have cards in our hand, we will be doing pack cracks, box cracks, gameplay, deck builds, all of that fun stuff. You have been in the Inkwell. My name is John T. I love you all to bits. Until the next one, be good.